Hello, hello, hello. Hey, you guys. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. And we are here for community conversations. All right. I'm going to give you guys time to come in and get it together. Yeah, I only had one person send me a question. Hey, Nita. You see we booked? You get my text? You get my text? I should try to bring you in. Let me see. Let me see if she say yeah. No.
Hey,
Oh, she said yeah. Hey, lady.
how are you?
I'm good. Today is a good day.
That's right. That's right. I see you got your
Yes.
braids out.
Yeah. I've been letting my hair rest. I actually wanted a certain type of hair, and so I had to order it. So I said, okay, I'll let my hair rest while I do that. So
Okay. Okay. Oh, it's nice to switch things up.
yeah. It lets all those young men that think I'm young know that I'm not. No, just like
Girl, listen. Stop that. You are
you know,
young.
you know I'm playing. So how's things going?
Things are going really well. Honestly, I have no complaints.
Mhm.
I am making a lot of headway. So things are going really, really well. I
Good.
have good residents. So yeah, so I'm not complaining. I'm definitely thinking about a pivot. So I'll share that
Okay.
with you in person when I see
Okay.
you
Okay.
in a few days.
Okay,
But
cool.
you know,
So how many
God.
people you got right now?
Right now I have two because one moved out
Okay.
because he and I can, this property has four.
Uh-huh.
So one moved out and it was really a success story because he came to me. He had only served 3 years and my threshold is five or more.
Mm-hmm.
And I accepted him at three. He had significant savings. He had his CDLA before he went to prison. So he had
Mm-hmm.
renewed it. So when he came home, he still had a CDAL license.
Uh-huh.
CDLA, yeah. And so he came to me. He was employed, girl, within 1 month.
Oh, good.
Girl, on his own, like boots on the
Wow.
ground, like looking for a job.
He wasn't playing.
Not at all. And moved out in 3 months to get his own place.
Oh,
So
look,
that's
what?
why I'm like, is the revenue missing? Yes, but it's a success story, and
No,
that
that's it.
matters much more than,
Yeah, because
you
that's what we
know,
do it for,
exactly. It's not for
to
me; it's for him. You
that's
know.
it. Bring
So
people in, give them a nice space to just recuperate and, with me, get regulated on their meds and then send
exactly,
them off to flourish.
exactly. So and I was able to give him a good reference, and so
Aw.
it worked well. So, I'm not even feeling bad about that. And then, even with having two vacancies, I
Mhm.
always look at that as God blocks. He sends the right one. So I would
That's
much
it.
rather have good residents than challenging residents that take up all my bandwidth to
Hmm.
deal with their issues. So, when I was a long-term landlord, it was like no tenant is a good tenant sometimes.
That's
So I,
it.
I just feel the same way. I do not chase, I do not accept anybody. I have a screening process. I be like, and that's the one thing I've been thinking of that people in the space, especially coming in unlicensed, you
Uh-huh.
must have a screening process. You cannot just
Yes.
say general population, I take
Yeah.
everybody, because it just creates chaos.
It does. It does. And you bring that wrong. It's kind of like fruit. You know, when you
Yep,
put that rotten fruit in there with the rest of the fruit, it don't turn that rotten fruit back to ripe. No, it makes the rest rotten. So,
exactly. It's like cancer. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like a
Yeah.
cancer, and it can spread
That's
quickly.
it.
So yeah, I'm
Man.
like, no, I'm good. Because I had a conversation today with the organization, and you really
Mhm.
have to be willing to say no. And I said, I
Yeah.
don't think that they would be a good fit.
That's it. Now I turn people away all the time. Well, Latoya does
Uh-huh.
because we have, it's like a certain criteria. Yeah, you don't want to miss
Yes.
out on the money, but you don't want to bring something bad into the home and mess up the whole house.
Yep.
So it's just yes, perfect.
So
Yes,
yeah. So
they definitely need a screening process.
yeah. And this year has been good because it's just been about being more strategic, especially with my
Hmm.
time, making sure that events that I show up to are really a good fit for me. Like
Yes.
you don't need to be at every event. I believe in networking and marketing,
Yes.
but it does need to be strategic.
Oh yeah. You see, I'm not out here running all crazy. Cause girl, because sometimes you go places and there's spirits everywhere. And
Ooh,
so
child.
sometimes you go to the wrong space at the wrong time and you
Mm-hmm.
get connected to the wrong person or the
Yeah.
wrong thing. And it's like you knew you weren't supposed to be there because you wasn't listening to that voice saying, well, maybe you need to sit this one out. Nah,
Mm-hmm.
nah. Such and such gonna be there. And then you go and you come back like, dang, feeling, bad or
Exactly. Like
just
that was a waste of
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Why was I
Or like
there?
it was a waste. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so that, and then also learning to listen more, because everybody wants a meeting. Oh, let's schedule a meeting. Okay, so
Mhm.
what you got for me? I'm listening. Instead of you
I know.
inst- let me tell you something. As I grow in
Uh-huh.
business, I really understand why you do consultations,
Yeah.
because people will try to take up all your time and just drain you, just pick your brain, drain you of information, and just going about their business. And it's like, I believe, to whom much is given, much is required, be a blessing to others. But people have to learn to put some skin in the game.
Yeah. You
And
have to.
and just be respectful of people's time, their experience, their information, and understand that that didn't come free.
Right.
People, you make huge investments to be a business person. If you really want to be a business person, it requires making investments
That's
in
so
yourself
true.
and your business. And you can't build a business on YouTube. You cannot. In Facebook groups, you cannot.
Because they're only going to give you enough. They're only going to give you enough, you know? And so you can't. And then this is the thing. A lot of people go down the rabbit hole because, getting all this wrong information. I do consultations every day with people that 50 people are telling them something. And I'm like,
Hmm.
that ain't right.
Exactly. There's no one size fits all. And
Mm-mm.
I was told, because I went to culinary school, and before I went, a chef associate of mine, he said to me, he said, when people don't go to school, you're limited to what they're willing to teach you. And it's
Right.
the same thing in business. When you don't invest in yourself and go to conferences or seek mentorships and things like that, you're limited to what you can acquire for free.
That's it.
And
That
free
is it.
information is not always correct information.
Yeah. That's the truth. And I told y'all I stopped. I was doing 15-minute free consultations in the beginning. I
Mm-hmm.
was doing them, and girl, and I was doing them 5 days a week.
Woo.
Girl, yeah. And do you know 70%, once we start tracking it, because they say you can't, it's like you can't manage something you can't track. So
Mm-hmm.
we start tracking it. 70% of the people that had a free consultation with me did not show up.
Wow.
70%. And I'm not talking about, like, some people will come back and reschedule, oh, I can't make it. Oh, I forgot this and that because it was free.
Mm-hmm.
And they would reschedule. After the second time they reschedule, I would not let them book. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking to you. If
Right.
you know what I mean? If you don't value what I have to say, then whatever. That was just like the initial. So we didn't track as far as who rescheduled and who showed up and didn't, but the initial 70% did not show up.
Wow.
Yeah, after that, after me, and you know how Esther is. Esther said, "Oh no, we're not doing that no more."
Wow. That's
I was
crazy.
I was still trying to be nice. Well, maybe we can do it here and there. No, the only time I send out, or Krista or me or Esther sends out that 15-minute free, is if somebody like has been through the program and they refer somebody or something like that, and they want us to, well, can you just talk? Okay, then we'll send
Mm-hmm.
it to them. But that's it. And the majority of those people show up. We're at right now, we're at about a 90% that don't show up.
That do.
So
You mean 90% do show up?
I mean, 90% do show up.
Okay.
Sorry, do show up. So 10% don't show up,
Right.
but and we don't reschedule. So
Absolutely.
you
You get one
cannot
shot.
reschedule.
That's
You
right.
need to book the 1 hour or you're not talking to me.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because it's very, and you have to think, just like right now I'm going through an issue in my business that's very, very serious. Not even talking about the personal issue, this is regulatory issue
Mm-hmm.
right now. So a lot of my time and energy and focus has been on that. I was talking to Krista today, and she was trying to talk, and girl, I got a phone call and an email while I was on the phone with her. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, and she was like, Mari, I know it's a lot. She was just like, just remember, take time for yourself. She was trying to encourage me because, and that's what people don't realize. Yes, I'm going to show up for my mentees because
Mm-hmm.
they invested. So I'm going to show up. I'm gonna show up on this platform, but then all the extras and stuff, people don't
Right.
realize that I'm doing, and I'm trying to, because I have somebody working on my YouTube, so I'm trying to show up there too. So I'm like, I can't waste no time. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, my time is muy valuable right
Right.
now. Like, no. And then too, things like, you know, people coming to town and me wanting to go to brunch.
Thank
I
you.
still want to do the things because
Right.
life ain't all about work. Me pulling back, I was supposed to speak somewhere and I had to tell them, I'm sorry. I promised my grandkids that we was going camping. So I
Oh.
had to back out because I double booked. So I'm saying
Right.
things like that. I'm like, no, I'm not putting off time with my grandkids. I'm not putting off special times with my kids and all of that like I did before when I
Right.
had to
Mm-hmm.
build this. Like now I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like me just trying to be a workaholic. So I have to tell myself, no.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You still have to live. I mean, what's the point of
Yes,
building a business if you don't live?
that's
If
it.
you don't enjoy life, if you don't enjoy any of the fruits of your labor.
Yeah. And I got a boo now. So.
Okay, excuse me.
We on here like we talk. Oh shoot, there's people listening now.
I,
Hey Mahogany, hey Alanis.
come on. Yes, yes. Well, we'll catch you next Sunday.
Yes, we will
You
catch up when you
know,
come.
on that. Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
But all right, lady, I'm glad you joined.
Absolutely. I got the notification. I said, "Oh, let me jump on and see." I always pick up pick up some gems always. So,
Yep,
but
that's true. Mahogany said balance prevents burnout. That's
girl,
it.
mahogany, yes. Yes. So I'm gonna stay in the background. I'm gonna drop off. So I know you have some of your, it
All
would
right.
MH gang. I couldn't think of that the other day for it to say
Yeah, MH gang. I ain't said that in a while. I got my MH gang in here. But
yes,
yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna talk on a little subject and see if
Okay.
anybody comes in with any questions. All right,
Okay.
lady.
Alrighty.
All right. We done got to talking and forgot that we was on. That's me and Nita. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad she's coming to town. Mahogany, you should probably come to town around that time. And then that way we can hang out. So let me make this announcement beforehand. I mean before I get started. It's official. VIP day is canceled. So for those of you who have paid, you will be receiving a refund. Um, and so we're gonna get that out to you guys. If you're on here, you'll receive. If you're not on here, you're gonna receive a notice. But I'm just getting it out there only because, yeah, that takes a lot out of me. It may not seem like it because it's one day, but me pouring into a group of people in person from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. For those of you that have came to the VIP, we do it all day. We answer every questions. We give you paperwork. We have lunch together and talk about business during lunch. It's just a lot. And right now, with everything I have going on, I can't do it. And so I'm telling myself no, and I'm like, no. We're and I don't know if I'll do another one. I don't know. But yes, Mahogany, you should come. We already have I will probably have to change the reservation. Let me know if you're coming because we have a reservation at the Wrigley Mansion that Sunday. And so let me know so I can add you if you want to come. So anyway, um, I had someone that is very, very nervous because their inspection is tomorrow. So I didn't see any questions in the chat or in the comments. So what I am going to go over is just a simple and this is one thing that you guys have to realize when you're going through the licensing process and that surveyor or inspector or whatever it's called in your area comes to your home, they have a checklist, but it is subjective. And so because it is subjective, that person is a person. The most important thing is letting them know that they are welcome into your home. And so, something that I always tell my mentees to do is to make them feel welcome. Have coffee brewing, have the creamer, not the cheap powdered stuff, liquid creamer, maybe a couple of French vanilla, hazelnuts, something like that, something you like. Real sugar, maybe some stevia, and maybe a half a dozen of pastries and different types of pastries because you want them to come in and feel like, oh, wow, dang, because people don't do this stuff. People don't have this stuff at inspections. And therefore, that has always been my cheat code. Y'all look. It's always been my cheat code. I always have refreshments. I do coffee, juice, and water, and then I have pastries. And sometimes I do sandwiches, depending on what area I'm in. If I'm in an area, like I got a couple of homes that they have to drive really far to get to me, then I'll have like those little breakfast sandwiches or the little, I used to do egg bites too, because they done drove all this way to get there. Therefore, I'm always trying to think and be considerate of that person. They may have had to leave home early or whatever, and you would not even realize how appreciative people are. I'm gonna tell y'all one survey that I had. I did that person came in and it was my record survey. That survey was 8 minutes. It was 8 minutes, you know? And so I feel like that has always been um like a positive or an asset for me, is because I always have a nice, and I make the table look nice. I might even get flowers. I've gotten flowers before. I had like little vases with decorations, but I make it look like a spread. So when they come in, they see that I took the time to think about them before they came. And so you don't have to do that, but it has worked for me and it has worked for my mentees. Therefore, it may work for you. But that is one thing that I'll say that I've always done. At least you're honest and letting people know you're not in position. Yeah, yeah, I'm not. And I don't want people to come and I can't give my all. So, yeah, so VIP day, if you didn't hear, VIP day is canceled. And so what I did was jot down some notes in regards to things that you should have and to be prepared for your inspection. I'm not going to get into like the checklist that the state will go through, because everybody's state is different. These are just environmental and basic things that you can have ready. Okay. So, of course, every room should be clean, every bed fixed, everything should be in order. House should be smelling good, trash should be picked up, trash should be empty, or, minor things from the breakfast, the spread that you fixed up for them. There should be nothing out of place. Everything should look model. It should look like a staged home. That is the most important thing. Everything needs to be, beds need to be crisp. Everything needs to look good, because I'm going to tell y'all, with surveyors and inspectors, if it looks good and it smells good, that may deter them from digging and staying there all day. So I always try to make sure that it is clean, smelling good. Them coffee and pastries will do it every time. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. Have things like, just go above and beyond. Have things like labels, on the doors. You may want to have, bedroom one, bedroom two, bathroom, shared bathroom, or whatever that label is, laundry room, pantry. You might want to have labels just so it's clear and they see, wow, they took the time to label every room. So when their clients come in, there will be no confusion. That sticks in people's minds. All right. Supplies should be, your house shouldn't be empty. You should have supplies, like if you're going to get a client. So there should be washing detergent where washing detergent goes. There should be dishwashing liquid where, where dishwashing liquid goes. There should be things in there. All right. Towels, sheets, not just on the beds, but the extra stuff. Smoke detectors in each bedroom, fire extinguishers. You guys know all of that. You need to have clearly marked exit signs. In some cities, illuminated exit signs. I've had a couple of homes that had to have illuminated exit signs. And then make sure that your temperatures in your refrigerator and also freezer and also the home are good. Don't have them coming into a house that's burning up. You just cutting the air on that day. Come the day before. If you don't keep the air on, come the day before and cut the air on so you can know that when they walk in, they're not like, oh, it's hot in here. Oh, yeah, I just came and cut the air on before you got here. It'll cool off in a minute. No, you don't want that atmosphere. You want the atmosphere to be cool. You want the atmosphere to be calm. So you want that when they walk in, it's like they're going to live there. Thing you want to have your paperwork. I know a lot of times they have you send your paperwork in before the inspection, but any paperwork that you feel like is needed as far as employee files, even if they didn't have you send in your policies, you need to have a copy of your policies. Have all that either on the bar, have it laid out on the table. I'm not saying like laid out, I'm saying organized. This is my policies. These are my employee files. These are my mock files. You know, these are my logs that I have to keep. Whatever it is, have it organized. Have it in binders or have it in folders. Make it look presentable. Have your file with all your information, your CPR first aid, your, if you're in Arizona, fingerprint card, whatever the things are that you need to have that home, you need a file on you. And make sure somebody called your references on your application because you need an application too. This is a business, okay? So make sure you have these things. And I'm not saying that every inspector or every type of home is going to require this, but I'm just telling y'all, these are things that I always have when I am getting ready for inspection. All your intake forms, your ISP or service plan forms, any medication logs. If you're not doing your thing online, if you're doing it online, make sure you know your login. Make sure you're able to access it. They might say, well, let me see your EMR. You don't have not one client, but you need to be able to log in and be able to access your EMR. Schedule. I know ain't nobody worked this house, but you need to have a schedule up on the wall saying Ifufu and Kalulu work on day and night shift. You need to have a mock schedule. Meal plans. What are you cooking? You ain't cooked nothing in this house, but what are you cooking for the next week? You need to have a menu up on the wall so they can know what you are cooking. Any of the information that you need. Now, I tell y'all, in my homes, everything is scheduled. So there is a snack schedule, there is um a meal schedule. There is all kind of schedules up. We put everything on the wall. If you're going to have paperwork on the wall, put it on the wall. Resident rights. That is something required in Arizona that you put on the wall. Know what your required documents are. And if it's required that you post them, post them. Okay? Any house rules? I tell y'all all the time, I suggest you post them on the wall. That way you're not always telling them what the rules are. I have rules in my intake packet. They have to read them and sign off on them. But guess what? When they come back and break a rule, what does rule number 7 say? And then they go over there and look and they read it. That's why you post it on the wall. You don't have to keep repeating that to them. And so have those type of things up on the wall just to let them know that you are organized and you are prepared. All right. Make sure you train your team. If you're going to have somebody there with you, sometimes I have people go through the inspection with me. Y'all know Esther. Esther goes through inspection. I ain't got to tell Esther nothing. Esther tell me what to do. But I'm saying, if there's somebody else there that's going to be with you, tell them, if you don't want them to say nothing, listen, don't say nothing, because sometimes people be talking too much. And if they not a regular part of the plan, and if they don't know, they might say something out the way, and you be looking at them like, shut the hell up. So train your team, whoever's there with you, even if it's, say if something happened, you had to bring your kids to the inspection. When this lady walk in this door, y'all go down the street to Mrs. Josephine house, and you done already talked to Miss Josephine and told her that the lady coming for her inspection. So I'm saying, whatever you gotta do, do it. Listen, Jethro and Maria, when that lady ring that doorbell, you say, excuse me, ma'am, walk out the door, don't say nothing else, and go down the street to Miss Josephine house. I'm saying, whoever your team is, train them. Yes. Oh my gosh. So know your emergency protocols. You should always have a floor plan up on the wall with your escape plan, but you need to know what that escape plan is, okay? And so make sure that is up there. Um, I always say practice. Practice an inspection. Practice to make sure. Walk around your house. Make sure that things are in place. Make sure that doors that need to be locked are locked, and doors that need to be unlocked can open. You know? So make sure that all of these things are right. Now, most importantly, this is very, very important. I put this at the end because it's very, very important. I got to do the dramatic pause. Be calm. Be calm. Have confidence, okay? Because you're organized. If you do all these little things, have everything in the right place, everything smelling good, you're organized. You're ready for this. So be calm and just have the confidence. And even if you don't have the confidence, act like you got the confidence. Answer when you're asked something and cut it off. Don't talk too much. If they ask you a yes or no answer, yes, no. If they ask you an open-end question, answer the question and stop. Because sometimes you get yourself in trouble by talking too much. Y'all know I've been doing this a long time. So be direct, be confident, be calm, and just answer what is asked of you. And don't give extra information. Greet them professionally. Most times when they come to your home, they give you a card. Greet them professionally, address them by name, and then walk them through the process. I would just, hey, how are you doing, Jonathan? So nice meeting you. Welcome to my home. Bring them in. Just to let you know, I didn't know what your preference was, but I wanted to make sure that I had some type of refreshments for you. I don't know how long you've been out today, and I didn't know if you had ate or drank anything. So, would you like water or coffee or juice? Oh, juice. Okay. Serve them some juice. You know, I'm just saying, make people feel welcome, because everybody they go to is not making them feel that way. And so it builds trust, you guys. It really does. When you make someone feel like that, it builds trust. So don't panic. Don't panic. You know, if they ask questions, just answer if you know them. If you don't know, hey, I don't know, but let me, if it's something that you have to find in your policies, but let me look that up. Look it up, read it out of your policies if that's what you have to do, because they want you to go by your policies. And if it's something that you know, I hope you can give me some grace. Can you explain that a little bit more? Because I'm not understanding. And see if they go into detail. Sometimes people will show you. So I'm saying these are the type of things that you can do to make your inspection go smoothly. Yep. And that's basically it. That's basically it, you guys. Just make sure you have all your stuff together. Make sure that everything is in order, that it's aesthetically pleasing, that it smells good, and just be organized and stay calm and be confident. And you got this. This is what you have been working towards. This is what you have prepared for. Just use everything that you have learned and show up for yourself. All right, you guys. I didn't see any more questions in here. So I just wanted to give, that word. I had somebody reaching out. They were and nervous. I could tell by the emails that they were pretty nervous about the situation, and so they're prepared. You prepare for this. You are ready for such a time as this. This is your time. All you got to do is show up and shine. That's it. All right, you guys. If nothing else, I will. Let's see. Let me make sure I ain't missing nothing. Thank you guys for joining me. And as I always say, be a blessing to someone else. Bye.